Welcome to Ed Cycles. I'm your host, Ed. Today's route is something a bit different. I'm going to be doing a loop around downtown Orlando that includes parts of several bike trails. There are several bike trails or portions of bike trails within the downtown Orlando area. Today's route includes a half mile on a Katy Way trail. On the east side of McGuire Boulevard is 2/10 of a mile of a bike trail that I can't find any designation for, although it would make sense to call it part of the Lake Underhill path, as that picks up just south of Colonial Drive. Lake Underhill path I'll go for about 1.9 miles to the east side of Lake Underhill and then double back on it to get to the west side of Lake Underhill, where I will connect with the Downtown Connector Trail for 1.6 miles. After going through the downtown Orlando area, I will get on Gertrude's Walk Trail and ride it for the entire 6/10 of a mile, where it connects to the Orlando Urban Trail for its full length of 2.9 miles. Working my way back to the starting point, I'll take advantage of the Bumby Avenue path for 7/10 of a mile. The starting point at Lake Druid Park is located not far from either the East-West Expressway going through Orlando, State Road 408, or the North-South route going through Orlando, Interstate 4. It is located about 2.5 miles northeast of the intersection of those two routes. From Lake Druid Park, I'll make stops at Festival Park, the Milk District, Colonel Joe Kittinger Park, Lake Underhill Park, Lake Como Park, the Greenwood Urban Wetlands Park. Then I'll go through Lake Cherokee neighborhood, past the Dr. Phillips Center for the Performing Arts, around Lake Eola, through the Downtown Business District, before getting on Gertrude's Walk and the Orlando Urban Trail and making a stop at Loch Park and return back to my starting point. Total mileage is expected to be about 18.2 miles. This should be a very interesting route, as I'm looking forward to exploring the downtown Orlando area. Today's ride begins at Lake Druid Park on the Katy Way Trail. Lake Druid Park is located just a few blocks north of East Colonial Drive, which is State Road 50, along Coy Drive. From Lake Druid Park, I'll be on the Katy Way Trail over to the east side of McGuire Boulevard. It's a great day for a bike ride. Lake Druid Park was created in 2009 when the city of Orlando took over ownership from the U.S. Navy. The city has since developed the park to contain a mountain bike area with a pump track and a junior pump track and a single track trail. It has a parking lot, porta potties, drinking fountains and benches, the Lake Druid Community Garden, in the Lake Druid Dog Park, which features separate fenced areas for small dogs and for larger dogs. There are benches for resting, and on-site portable toilet, water fountains for both humans and canines. This section along Warehouse Road is relatively quiet with little traffic. Being located in a more urban area, you'll see along today's route that much of the path is of this concrete, multi-use, wide sidewalk type of path. After crossing over to the east side of McGuire Boulevard, I'm going to leave the Katy Way Trail and head to the south along McGuire Boulevard, where there is a bike trail that exists until you get to Route 50, and I think within a couple of blocks south of Route 50, the Lake Underhill Trail begins. This area that I'm riding through now is called Colonial Town Center. I would describe it as dense suburban. That is to say, it has residential areas, but also has many businesses. Anything you would be seeking you can find along State Road 50, and it's all not far from downtown Orlando. Colonial Drive, or State Road 50, is always busy. I'm grateful for the crossing signal lights here.
According to the information online, the Lake Underhill Trail begins here at Fairgreen Street along McGuire Boulevard, but I can see it looks like it's been extended a couple of blocks, or at least one block to the north to get closer to Colonial Drive. So the only part without a trail right there is the actual crossing of Colonial Drive.
Located relatively close to downtown Orlando, the Orlando Executive Airport is situated on over 1,000 acres and has two fixed-base operators offering services to private pilots and business flyers. There are no commercial flights on airlines in and out of Orlando Executive Airport.
I'm going to deviate from Lake Underhill Trail just a bit to go across the street here and take a look at Festival Park.
After riding through Festival Park, I also take a look at the Milk District going along Robinson Street, Bumby Avenue, and Washington Street, and then return to the Lake Underhill path. Festival Park has 16 acres. Much of that is open land that's available for special events. The volleyball courts are available on a first-come, first-served basis. And many people also enjoy the skate park and the community garden. From Festival Park, it's about another block or a block and a half west on Robinson Street to begin seeing the wall murals that the Milk District has become known for. The first mural I come to is this environmental awareness mural across the face of this building. Directly across the street is the T.G. Lee Dairy with, of course, their dairy theme. You see a lot of dairy themes throughout these murals. Here's the Pabst Blue Ribbon Cows mural on the face of the Sportstown Bar. The Aztec line is a little more hidden. It's kind of back behind one of the buildings. Childhood cancer awareness on the west face of the Bull and Bush. Cactus scene on the face of the Gringos Locos business. Taco King, which I understand is supposed to be a play on the Lion King, but for the MX Taco business. Whiskey Lou's has a full-length underwater scene on one face of the building, and on the other side of the building is a swamp scene. Primrose tattoo has this scene painted on it. This octopus milk monster on the north face of the Liberty Barber Shop. And this mural on the wall of a local sandwich shop. Now I'm heading back to the Lake Underhill path along Robinson Street. At this point is where McGuire Boulevard changed the name to Crystal Lake Drive. I'm now back on the Lake Underhill path, and after heading south for a very short distance, arrive at Colonel Joe Kittinger Park.
I'm on the Lake Underhill Trail parallel to McGuire Boulevard as it continues its way down to the actual Lake Underhill. Just before getting to State Road 408, on the left-hand side is the entrance to Colonel Joe Kittinger Park.
After Colonel Joe Kittinger Park, I'll return to the Lake Underhill path and follow it to the east side of Lake Underhill. This plaque states America's first man in space. I believe it is referring to his record-breaking high-altitude balloon flight in 1960. He then jumped from that height at 19 miles up in a pressurized suit to become the highest altitude jump, a record that stood until 2012. Colonel Kittinger was born in Tampa but grew up near Orlando. This F-4 Phantom aircraft is the type of aircraft they flew in Vietnam. This park also serves as a trailhead for the Lake Underhill path. At this point, the path runs parallel along the off-ramp from State Road 408 to access Crystal Lake Drive. Up a little further, I'll go across that off-ramp and then cross under State Road 408 while staying on the bike path. This part of the Lake Underhill path is within a nearly 9-acre park that buffers the southern shore of Lake Underhill from the nearby streets. This trail is often called the Fitness Trail because of the many fitness stations located along the way.
I'm at the east side of Lake Underhill right now. The trail does continue to the east for almost another mile to get to the Park of the Americas. I wish that the trail would continue around the lake, and in a manner of speaking it does, but unfortunately it is for pedestrians only. Looks like it'd be a nice ride back to the west side of the lake. So now I'm going to go back to the west side of the lake and continue on my route today.
Heading west on the Downtown Connector Trail, I'll make quick deviations onto Lake Como Park and the Greenwood Urban Wetland Park.
So I'm back on the west side of Lake Underhill. This is where that trail for pedestrians only comes out. It looks like it's a straight line all the way down, parallel to State Road 408. So I'm going to leave the Lake Underhill Trail and continue today's route on the Downtown Connector Trail. Thank you.
Lake Como Park is right off the Downtown Connector Trail. I thought I'd go in and have a quick look. Lake Como and Lake Como Park appears to be the centerpiece of this quiet residential neighborhood very close to downtown Orlando. I'm riding past Greenwood Cemetery, which is owned by the city of Orlando. It is one of the oldest cemeteries in the Orlando area, and many people of historical significance to the development of Orlando are interred there, including multiple ex-mayors, T.G. Lee of T.G. Lee Dairy, Elijah Hand and Joe Tinker, whose business buildings I'll ride past later, and Joseph Bumby, who is had a significant hand in the development of the area, and Bumby Avenue is named after him. Greenwood Urban Wetlands Park is right off the trail and provides 19 acres of green oasis so close to downtown. Very beautiful to ride through. Very nice side excursion from the main trail. This wetlands park has 19 acres and provides a place for rainwater runoff for the entire area. It is located within the Lake Davis Greenwood neighborhood.
Unfortunately, the Downtown Connector Trail ends here at Summerlin Avenue, but I'm going to take this opportunity to ride through and take a look at some of the buildings in the Lake Cherokee Historic Neighborhood, beginning right here.
I'm going to make stops at these 6 locations that are deemed historically significant by the city of Orlando. To meet the needs of the ever-growing population in Orlando, construction of the Cherokee School was begun in 1926. It initially opened as a junior high school, and it remained in active use in the Orange County school system until it was closed in 2021. The Cherokee School is described by the Orlando Sentinel as a Mediterranean revival construction with a blend of Moorish and Spanish architecture. In 1981, the Lake Cherokee neighborhood became designated as a historic district, only the second within Orlando's area. This neighborhood is very well kept. The brick streets are beautiful but rough for bicycle riding. Of the 6 stops that I make going through the Lake Cherokee neighborhood, 3 of them are privately owned houses that I felt a little funny taking photos from the street of these houses. However, these houses with their addresses are listed on the orlando.gov website under the Lake Cherokee Historic District section. This set of 9 bungalow-style cottages was originally built to serve as guest cottages for visitors to the city. Today they're used as business offices. Dr. Phillips attended medical school, but from what I understand, he was not a practicing physician. Instead, he made his money in the citrus industry. He became a major citrus grower and innovator and developed new ways to handle, pack, and can fruit. He and his team developed flash pasteurization, which kept the flavor and vitamin C content of orange juice. In 1912, he purchased, renovated, and moved into this house.
The actual downtown Orlando busy business district is behind me, just across State Road 408, which is right there.
Leaving Dr. Phillips' house, I'll now go clockwise around the eastern half of Lake Lucerne, cross under State Road 408, then across Roseland Avenue and Anderson Street to get to the Dr. Phillips Center for the Performing Arts. This is the Dr. Phillips Center for the Performing Arts. It features 4 separate theaters inside to accommodate a variety of acts. Total seating capacity is 2,731. From the Dr. Phillips Center for the Performing Arts, I'm going to make my way up to Lake Eola. From Dr. Phillips Center, Lake Eola is about 4 blocks away. Lake Eola is considered to be the centerpiece of downtown Orlando. It is a popular place for both locals and tourists.
Lake Eola itself is 23 acres. There's the land surrounding it is a park with a 9/10 of a mile path that goes around it. I'm going to start here at the Perry Fountain and work my way clockwise around the lake.
Being mid-December, the city has installed holiday decorations throughout the park, but as you'll see, there are also a good number of permanently installed artworks and sculptures sprinkled throughout the entire length of the perimeter of the lake. The Walt Disney Amphitheater is an outdoor venue capable of seating up to 1,157 people. It was donated by the Walt Disney Company to the city of Orlando in 1989. The Muse of Discovery sculpture, made of limestone, practically invites you to sit in the palm of her hand. The swan-shaped paddle boats can be rented for a self-guided and self-propelled tour of the lake. As you might have guessed, Lake Eola is actually a sinkhole, with the center of it being located about 100 feet east of the fountain. The Take Flight sculpture is 30 feet long and is made of aluminum and magnesium. Lake Eola is most known for its fountain and for its swans. The first Lake Eola water fountain was installed in 1912, and it was replaced in the late 1950s by the current one, which features a nightly light show choreographed to music. This Chinese pagoda, or technically a ting since it is only 1 story tall, was dedicated to the city in 1987 by Dr. Nelson Ying, a Chinese-American philanthropist. The swans receive annual checkups and vaccinations. They're also microchipped to keep track of them. The 30-foot tall Cedar of Lebanon sculpture is crafted from metal. This sculpture is said to represent how artists have to learn to rise to the heights of their potential. They must stay grounded in the earth with 2 right feet while looking for answers within. The farmers market at Lake Eola is active every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. The centered sculpture is 25 feet tall and is said to remind us how Orlando is the center of family fun.
Leaving Lake Eola, I'll do a quick tour of the downtown business district before getting on the next trail, which is Gertrude's Walk.
There are several buildings in this area that are considered to have historic significance to Orlando, so I'm going to ride past them and have a look. Wall Street Plaza is a pedestrian-only complex of several bars and restaurants that is the site of many special events to draw people into the area and frequent the businesses. The Tinker Building is named after its first owner, Joe Tinker, who was a very successful and very well-known baseball player who played for the Chicago Cubs in the early 1900s. When he retired from baseball, he moved to Orlando and started a new chapter in his life of a real estate business that he ran out of this building. Elijah Hand ran a successful business in this building in the early 1900s. He was both an undertaker and a furniture maker. The undertaking business was on the bottom level and the furniture store was on the upper level. The Rogers Kine building is built in the Queen Anne style. It features metal cladding over a wooden frame. It is the oldest building in downtown Orlando. This is the Discover Downtown Visitor Information Center. This is where you can get information on events, attractions, transportation, parking, and anything you need to know about what's happening in Orlando. DTO is short for Downtown Orlando. The Crest building was originally a department store and is known for its Art Deco style. The old Orlando Railroad Depot dates to 1889 and today sits unused. There are proposals to renovate this structure and the Church Street station buildings further down the street into an entertainment complex, but no word on the decision on that yet.
Catty corner from the old train depot is the start of Gertrude's Walk.
Gertrude's Walk is named after Gertrude Sweet, who moved to Orlando from New Orleans in the 1870s. In the 1880s, her brother was the mayor of Orlando, and he commissioned the construction of that street and named it Gertrude's Avenue after his sister. Over time, the use of the street became less and less, but the walk as it is now is there to commemorate that part of Orlando's history. I found some conflicting information regarding the exact end of Gertrude's Walk at the north end. So what I have here may not be technically correct, but the important thing is that at the north end it does connect contiguously to the urban trail.
Now, I believe this is where Gertrude's Walk ends and the Orlando Urban Trail begins here at Livingston Street.
The Orlando Urban Trail is about 2.9 miles in total length, and this segment goes up to Loch Park. The trail runs right by the Lynx Central Station, which is the bus service that services the entire Central Florida area here in the Orlando area, and it also serves as a Sunrail commuter rail station. Both accommodate cyclists and their cycles. This magnificent bicycle pedestrian bridge over Colonial Drive is quite an impressive structure. It's over a quarter of a mile long, the total raised section. The actual metal structure in the middle is 300 feet long, with the distance between the two pylons that are 88 feet tall. That distance between them is 250 feet. It's a very impressive structure and much appreciated for cycling. From what I found online, it cost over $9.2 million to build this magnificent structure.
And right here is where you would leave if you want to go back to the Katy Way Trail. This is the local streets route, the shortest route, 1.7 miles, get back to the Lake Druid Park at Katy Way Trail.
Loch Haven Park spans 45 acres and serves as a cultural park. This park is home to not just the Manello Museum of American Art, but the Orlando Shakespeare Theater, the Orlando Repertory Theater, the Orlando Museum of Art, the Orlando Science Center, the Orlando Fire Museum, and the Orlando Ballet. My route continues along the east edge of Loch Haven Park up to the north end of Lake Estelle.
The Orlando Urban Trail presently ends here at the intersection of Mills Avenue and Dorchester Street. This trail that goes off to the right here will go up to Mead Botanical Gardens. I'm going to follow that at the other side of the lake, but I'm not going up to the Mead Gardens. At that point, I'm going to continue on the local roads to get back to Lake Druid Park, and we'll take advantage of the Bumby Avenue Trail along the way. Well, that was a fun ride. It was interesting, a little different than the usual. Kind of liked getting to see more of downtown Orlando.
The route I took today was about 18.2 miles. If you wanted to do the downtown loop, but you wanted to skip all the sightseeing side trips that I took and skip going to the east side of Lake Underhill and then back to the west side, and then find a more direct route from the downtown connector trail to Gertrude's Walk, the mileage there would be about 10.4 miles total.
Get out and enjoy the bike trails. It's a great day for a bike ride.